Welcome to Two Nerds and an Actor. We are the entertainment podcast for the nerd adjacent to the nerd aficionado, where we give you bi-weekly reviews on a popular TV show and movie, where we tell you in hilarious fashion what to watch and why. This is season 4, episode 15, and I am here with my inverted nerds, Mike Santana.
That would make me Mills.
Mills.
Yes.
Mills. Got it.
Yes.
Slim. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm missing a part. And France Jerome.
Whose backwards name is Sitsnarf.
Oh, okay. I got it now. Snarf. I was saying snarf. It didn't work.
Snarf.
That's actually how that happened. My dad was like, oh, it's Snarf.
It's another way to call you by the government.
Thundercats reference, folks. Come on.
And I'm your Aisha Jordan. Yes.
Said it with an accent this time.
Play it like if you're listening to this. Oh, I guess you can't play things backwards either.
Oh, yeah, they
it's
can.
Not a record.
They'll find ways.
Really? Oh, okay. All you engineers out there, play it backwards. See what happens. Tell me. Well, today we have a good show for y'all. We are hitting some nerdy leaks on the virtual Emmys that just passed. Very exciting. Some good wins. The Marvel Cinematic Universe dates that have been pushed. The Snyder Watch again. And we review Lovecraft Country episodes 4 to 6. And yes, everyone, we saw Tenet and we have the scoop for you. Then stick around for the end because we have a lot of trailers. WandaVision, Mandalorian Season 2, Attack on Titan, and many more. So let's get this thing started. And for Nerdy Leagues, let's get it poppin'. So I am actually very excited to talk about Nerdy Leaks. Our first up, the Emmys. So I watched the Emmys on ABC's. What was ABC's app? Where does it come on?
Yeah, I think it was ABC.
I think it was ABC. Yeah, so I watched it, live as happening. And honestly, I had a blast. Like, I know that doesn't sound surprising because of how much I love, award season shows. But the way it was constructed this year, for y'all who didn't watch, because not a lot of people watch award shows, they obviously couldn't be in person because of COVID. So they had the host, who was Jimmy Kimmel again, and he's like in a room. At first they make it seem like people are there. They keep showing an audience laughing and stuff. And I was like, yo, this is old footage. But it was clever because then he's like, yeah, no one's here. It's like some people were there backstage, but all of the people who were kind of like nominated are on their screens, like at home. So it was just so much more like humanizing and like personal. So people are sitting there with like their parents and like their siblings or even maybe some cast members. Like some people went big, like Issa Rae had the whole like football field rented out in LA, or no, the baseball field. I think it was maybe it was football.
No, it was football. I think it was where the Raiders.
Oh, okay.
We used to be.
Well, that's where they were. And it was just so cute to see like these winners and being like, screaming to their families off camera or like hugging their, loved ones. And I was like, this is amazing. But it was also really funny because Rami, who was nominated in the comedy category, was like videoed what happens when you don't win. So basically they had these people in hazmat suits. Usually it's the interns, right? They hand the Emmys, they hand the envelopes. They are driving in Kias, obviously, product placement, and standing outside of people's doors. And if they win, they hand them the Emmy. And then if they don't, Rami showed a video of the person in the hazmat suit holding the Emmy, waving goodbye at him, and walking away.
Wow.
With the statue in hand.
It was hilarious.
That's the wrong number.
It was like, when you lose the Emmy, they were like, bye.
Wow. So they carried actual Emmys to every nominee's house.
Yeah.
Or in some cases, maybe multiple, depending on what it was for, no?
I think that some people just sat outside of people's houses. Like they just
Yeah,
if
you got nominated for 6, then somebody has 6 of them joints outside.
just like sitting there. And some of them were in these boxes too. Like Jimmy Kimmel was like, okay, we're trying out these boxes that if you win, a hand pops out with the Emmy and like you're the winner.
Confetti.
And confetti. And he was like, let's see if it works. And I think last week Tonight one, it was the first time they were trying it. And like the hand pops out and confetti is like all in his room. He's like, Jesus.
Judd Oliver almost crapped his pants.
But it was hilarious.
Zazu.
But aside from the very creative way that the Emmys really like touched your heart, I do want to shout out some of these winners because it was phenomenal. So I'm going to start out with my favorite, which was Uzo Aduba. She won for Best Supporting Actress in a Limited Series or Movie. Can I say, when she won, she was like, oh my God, she's like surprised. And then she just goes, Mom, I won.
What? The meatloaf.
It was super, super cute.
It was like,
yeah,
it reminded me of like when they do like the draft day for sports and you have the former college athletes just waiting to get the phone call and they're surrounded by loved ones.
Right.
It reminded me of that, which is pretty cool.
It had that feel. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just very exciting. And Yaya won. I don't know if you guys saw. Did you see what happened when he won? So he was like in this nice ass pinstripe suit. And he was like, oh yeah, thank you. This, that, whatever. And then after the camera didn't change yet, and he just gets up and he's like, whoa! And he like runs out of the room.
It was like when Jordan finals hit the buzzer beater. He did the jump, the fist. I was like, oh snap.
Nah, yeah, good fan. That was a good win. I mean, Watchmen won a lot, and so did Schitt's Creek.
Yeah. How do we feel about the Schitt's Creek wins?
Which one? Because they...
I mean...
She said wins.
Just the fact that they took so many, I guess.
It's a show that I've had on my list and never watched, but the cast is obviously, amazing. I enjoy a lot of those actors and other things I've seen them in. I just haven't seen any of Schitt's Creek. Oh, but it's been frequently recommended to me, though.
Well, we've seen it. Well, I've seen it. I'm in season 3 now, like beginning of season 3. No, it's very good. It's hilarious. It's definitely one of those shows you can just put on. I was just my side eye got more and more stronger as it kept happening because there were some snuffs that I was like, really? Like the biggest one was like the supporting role in comedy. Like the girl who plays the sister is great. Like she's really great, but she was also up against.
She's up against Carsey Darden.
Yes, yeah, who plays Janet in The Good Place, and I was like, I don't know.
She was a Timmy. Was it Marcy Carden? Darcy? No, it's Darcy.
Darcy.
Yes, Darcy Carden. It was a dead ringer. Like that performance was OD, so demanding, and she just like knocked it out the park. I didn't see that one coming at all. And the Schitt's Creek thing is kind of like they all look and appear to be good people, well-intentioned people, but it's like a legacy show. It's Catherine O'Hara and Eugene Levy been on rocking together since like Christopher Guest movies in like the early 90s, late 80s.
And Daniel Levy is Eugene Levy's son, which I, for some reason, didn't put that together. Like,
look at their faces.
I know. I just didn't put it together. I'm like, oh my God, wait. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, okay. I mean, cool show. All Canadians on deck doing their thing.
All right, before I move on to the next thing, the biggest win of the night, Regina, Watchmen took the biggest award of the night. And Zendaya made history as the youngest lead actress to ever win an Emmy. And only the second black person.
Yep. They heard my threats.
If you don't.
Hers was, so like when I didn't know who was nominated with her. And like they were saying the nominees.
Didn't
and then
matter.
as I said more and more, well, I was like, oh man, she's not gonna win. She was up against some serious hitters, and I was like, oh well, maybe next time. And then she won, and you saw everyone's face in their little boxes that they were just so happy for her.
Yes.
Like I was like, I'm not crying. You're crying.
That show is so powerful, and she is so obviously the star of it that I was like, if she don't get acknowledged for this, what the fuck she gonna have to do?
Right.
Like, I know she's young. There's plenty she can do, but I'm like, damn.
She bodied that.
Yeah, like, you gotta acknowledge
She really
that.
did.
It was such a moving performance. And, you know, with more of Euphoria to come, I look forward to where they go from here. But I'm glad that they acknowledged her, you know, her carrying that show.
Yeah, 1,000%. All right. Now that we've recapped the Emmys, the next news item we have is Marvel dates. So they have pushed many a date. Which, Mike, you want to talk more about?
No,
it?
I just wanted to say the biggest shift, I think, in all the date restructuring again is that they have made it so that instead of Black Widow, the Black Widow series kind of launching phase 4, it's now going to come out next year. And the first phase 4 project that we're going to actually see is going to be WandaVision.
Right. So WandaVision is going to come first, and then so Black Widow was supposed to come out basically next month, like November, and now it's May 2021.
Well, next month is October, but yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically October right now.
What? No.
Quarantine time.
No. Oh, right.
It's still March.
Right, quarantine
It's
time.
quarantine
Right,
time.
I forgot. Yes.
Anything can happen.
Yes.
Quarantine time.
On quarantine time, it's tomorrow, today.
It's Tenet.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
All right, so we still have WandaVision, which is still coming out. This is like the regular time has come out, right?
No.
I don't remember what the original launch was for it.
Yeah, me either. But it's possible that I think all the Disney stuff got pushed back a little bit. All the Disney Plus series got pushed back a little bit. WandaVision, though, and we'll talk about the trailer later.
Yeah.
It makes sense that they were probably able to continue doing that one because I think a lot of that is done like on a set. Like a smaller, like a closed set because of the nature of what the show is seemingly parodying or whatever. But like the Falcon and Winter Soldier thing, and
so they're probably in there like with their cue cards, moving shit around to make sure that the connected universe still works out. Like I feel like pushing is one thing, moving around that changes a connected story. You know,
it's Tony and Steve trying to figure out what to do now that they're out of PIM particles. They'll figure it out. They'll find the workaround.
It's true. All right. Speaking of, things changing and continuing and new things happening. So there's a new series with Nick Fury, I guess, happening on Disney Plus. I don't quite understand it.
Not the leak was only simply that he's being asked to do stuff in the shows. Not that he would have his own show, but that he will be present in the shows that we are that are being leaked that are being told
that are being leaked.
That are being told that will be happening. So, if he'll cameo She-Hulk, WandaVision, like apparently he'll be around. That's still in this
there was more. It was like
I thought he was
a
getting his own
secret
series.
show.
Yeah, he's getting his own series.
It's literally like nobody knows what it is. They don't know what it's called, but they know he's in it and it's happening.
It's called Cameo the Series.
No,
Hey.
he's.
Nick's Fury.
It says that it would be the latest big budget Marvel show to get the green light at Disney
Fury
Plus.
Road.
Who knows? Who knows what it is? I wonder if it's gonna be connected to Captain Marvel though.
It'll get you drunk. Yeah, like I don't know I don't know what they would ask Sam Jackson to do, but I'm with anything Sam Jackson does.
Yeah.
So, more Nick Fury, cool. A young Nick Fury, like even younger than he appeared in fucking Captain Marvel. I'm with that too. I don't care.
Well, that's what I said. I think they're going to do, I feel like it would make sense if they tried to connect it to Captain Marvel, although that's been pushed to 2022, so it's going to be a long series. Whatever it is.
It could also be stuff hinting at what he's doing for Sword, what we believe is Sword.
Oh yeah, the outer
The strategic homeland workforce
space version.
Shut up, Aisha. Strategic Homeland. Schwartz?
Schwad.
The Schwartz.
The Schwad.
Schwartz.
It's an offshoot. It's an offshoot. No Hydra this time. Okay. So, on that note, speaking of Hydra, no. Snyder Watch.
Why is that speaking of Hydra? I'm so mad.
Because it's like taking over our lives and we didn't ask for it.
It ain't.
Okay.
Valid.
First of all, so I saw this heading and I was like, what the fuck? So apparently, I don't even know if this is real. Maybe it's a fake article. I don't know. It looked real. But they're saying that the Snyder Cut reshoots are going to cost somewhere upwards of $70 million.
Sounds about
Questions.
right. Sounds about right.
Why are there reshoots? That's not a thing. That's not how cuts go. You made a cut, and that's the one we watch. You don't go back and then make the movie.
It makes sense because he didn't get to finish, like, even shooting his movie. You know what I mean? So it makes sense because he had to leave before Justice League was done even filming and Whedon stepped in. So it makes sense in that sense.
Yeah, but this makes it a misappropriation of the film language. It's like that's not how a cut goes. It's like you are shooting a new movie,
right?
Sure.
But the hype was that it existed already.
Well, a lot of it already did.
A
lot of it already did because in the trailer we saw some of it already. Like in the language of film, in the original Justice League trailer, I'm saying.
Doesn't matter. The language of film is if it's a cut, like the Donner cut of Superman was just the movie was already in the can, it just wasn't out, and then you put out the cut to do you're making a new movie.
What's a sexier hashtag? Because the idea of a Snyder cut came from fans anyway.
Exactly? But that's my point. It's like the old like that section of fans is on some ish.
It's just the Snyder movie, you know. That's what it is.
I don't see any downsides to this because we were all disappointed with Justice League. We know Snyder.
No, it's less of a downside. It's just wrong. It's like if you tell somebody another movie's happening, it's different. I'm gonna let it rock.
I don't know. He's very upset about this. I was just saying.
What the fuck?
I was just saying. You talking that there's a director's cut. You have a director's cut. It's done. It's usually what the studio was like. We don't like it, cut these things out. And the director's like, fine. And, this is the version I liked. And that's what you see. This is a Snyder movie. He's like, this isn't a cut. We're giving you $70 million. Like, the more important thing is that's a whole nother ass movie budget. Like, obviously smaller than some. But that's a whole nother shooting situation during COVID for something that was supposed to just be like your version of a movie. Already cut. So I'm like, dang, this has taken new levels. People wanted to see the Snyder Cut. They're like, we'll make it for you. It's like crazy. So we want to take this time to shout out Kat Ramos, of course, because it is actually her birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Kat Ramos, one of our favorite listeners and supporters and shout-outers. She shouts us out, and we always got to shout her out. So happy birthday. Thank you. For anyone out there, this is the time where we're going to shout you out. and also let you know how you can support us. So there are 4 ways that you can support us. 1, you can donate. You can give monthly, which allows you to give something like $5 a month. Shout out to Simone. That definitely helps us because we literally have monthly costs for this podcast that we do ourselves. So if you want to give a monthly gift, then we will shout you out in this section and we'll give you that same love back. But you can also give one time. Maybe you only have $20. Give us $20. Anything really does help us with our sound editor amounts, running our site, and then also getting paid for our time. Because we want this to be our job. That's why we do it. We love doing the work, and I'd rather just do this work. Yeah. Also, like, subscribe, comment, share, download. All of those things get algorithms working for us so that we're in more places, getting in more ears, more spaces. And then write a review. If you're a blogger, if you're a reviewer, anything like that, even write a comment on your page saying, yo, this is a dope podcast that you should check out. This gives us some cred, and then cred points are always dope, and we will shout you out. Last but definitely not least, become a sponsor. If you have a company that you want to just get the word out, mind you, we do have a good number of downloads, so people will be hearing your ad, and we'll work with you on cost, runtime, something that works for you, and then you'll get to hear your business shouted out in our show. So make sure you do all the things: like, subscribe, comment, download, share, write a review, donate, and you can donate on our page at twonerdsandactor.squarespace.com. Again, that's the number 2 spelled out, nerdsandactor@squarespace.com. So please support us, shout us out, and we'll shout you out.
This is where we about to talk some shit about some movies, but not let the secrets out.
All right. For our no spoilers this time around, we will be talking about Lovecraft Country episodes 4, 5, and 6, and the explosive movie Tenet. So for anyone who is listening, this is where, if you haven't seen those things, keep listening, because we're going to tell you a little bit, but not spoil it, and you can decide if you want to watch it. If you have seen those things, keep listening, because we're going to tell you a little bit of things, and then later we'll tell you a lot of things in our Spoilae. So let's kick it off. All right. So the biggest thing with Lovecraft Country for me in these following episodes, because we're getting into territory that me and France have not seen in advance, which is very exciting. We get to experience with everyone else. But the world at large has been more and more critical of the episodes that have been coming out. So I kind of want to talk about it. How do you all feel more than halfway through? Is it still kind of holding up to that first few episodes? Or are you like, it's falling off a little?
I mean, I'll jump it off and just be like, it's a show. There's more than it's a group effort. There's writers. There's mad people doing it. Sometimes episodes of different directors. I was like, so I'm like, it's a group it's a show like any other show. Not every episode is gonna hit the same way, and I feel like it's been holding up and consistent. The real issue folks are having with the critical stuff is that it's written by Matt Ruff, who's still a white person. So people are looking for it to be like blackety blackety black black, and it's like it's a show set in a time with black people, but it's not a blackety black 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 show.
Yeah, neither was The Wire, and it still feels like one of the most authentic shows I've ever seen. But anyway, has it been building up? I feel like we're getting like episodes 4, 5, and 6 have felt more like flexes, because like we have the core story, the core characters, but 4, 5, and 6 seems to diverge a little bit away from them. Well, not 4, but 5 and 6. And so I guess for some folks that are watching it, that could be a little bit jarring, but we talked about how this is pulpy. and we talked about how much like a comic this might feel. So it's going to that territory of like, you know, story of the week, but within this world that was built up the first 4 episodes, because the focus is on like, you know, not the main characters so much, but on like these other.
Right.
So I see it more like world building. Not everybody likes world building. I don't know if the stakes have gotten any higher either with these 3 episodes necessarily. Like the messaging and the effects and some of the things that you're seeing are like really intense, but they're for characters that probably most viewers don't consider the main characters. And I just take it as more world building for me to see how far this is going, so that when they bring it back on focus to the main characters, I'm like, all right, these are some of the places we can go. You know, now that we see how the supernatural works, the sci-fi works, and all those other things that have been played around with the mythology and things like that of other cultures in these episodes.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all that. And I think that's just a natural way that stories ebb and flow. But I think the biggest thing that's been out in the world is the content and the story writing. People have been upset about the direction and the treatment of some characters. And that has been a big thing. And just it makes it seem very messy. That's what I'm hearing a lot of. And I agree to some extent, because not everything is perfect. Do you know what I mean? I don't think everything can be perfect. And even watching it like ahead of, you know, many people, I saw things that I was like, the world is not going to like that. That doesn't look good. And that sucks. You know what I mean? There's like certain elements of, you know, that they've decided to highlight, or decisions they've made, you know, in terms of the plot and story, that are like, oh man, I wish that hadn't happened. Oh man, I wish that was different. But for me, watching it, it doesn't take away from my desire to keep investing in the story and seeing where it goes.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like, based on what you and Francis are saying, we're at that point with a show that a lot of people are like it, they're interested in it, right. But it comes to a point where it's like, the show is the show, and shows are not always what we want them to be. The book is written, you know what I'm saying? You're opening it, you're reading it. You can't change the words around. It's not your story. You're just taking it in, and you do with it what you would. You know what I'm saying? So
Amen.
I feel like that's where we're at with this show. That's why when I was giving my take on your question, I'm just focusing on like what I'm noticing narratively. But in terms of where people want to insert themselves in this story and try to make it their own, this is not a choose your own adventure. We talked about how important it is to have people of color, people of more marginalized communities. We've talked about how important it is to write stories, have platforms for them to be in. We've talked about how the sci-fi genre is something where so many minorities are underrepresented in them. So I'm just seeing the show for what it is. High quality special effects, great writing. It's controversial. It's jarring. It's all these things, but it's well acted. It's well produced. I'm enjoying it, and I'm not trying to make it what it's not. I'm just taking it in for now, and then I'll evaluate it again when season 1 is over.
True. Well, yeah. I mean, we're gonna talk definitely more about some specifics in our Spoilae. So if you have seen it, please do stick around. If you haven't seen it, probably don't stick around, because the spoilers in this show are real.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
You would be probably pretty upset if you heard some of the things
it's Cardi B level
about to talk about.
You said Cardi what? B. You said they did what to who?
All right. So next up, Tenet. Yes, people, we went to the movie theater.
For you?
No, we did.
We went to another fucking state.
Yep.
5 people in a 300 to 400 seat packed theater. Only 5 motherfuckers in there.
Yeah, it was IMAX.
It was the most social distance. It was more social distance than train cars. I'll tell you that right now in New York.
Yikes.
Yeah.
So
I remember when I bought the tickets, I was like, no one else had bought tickets, and I was like, I hope they still don't. So anyone thinking about going to the movies, check out, what was it? The Bow Tie Cinemas?
Don't tell
Majestic?
them. No.
Oh, don't go there.
Don't go.
Just
We
kidding.
don't want them there.
It's closed.
Oh my gosh.
They're closed.
No, don't do that.
Closed.
They can't win.
The cat's
here.
out of the bag.
I can't win.
Nah, but we should shout them out. The Majestic in
Yeah, they were
Connecticut.
dope. It was very, we went to the
Stanford.
first showing, so it's clean.
Very clean.
Yeah, Bow Tie Cinemas. They out here.
Very clean.
Yeah.
Staff was very helpful and they responsibly socially distanced. So we should give them
Yeah.
a shout out for that.
We should. Majestic 6, Stamford, Connecticut.
Yeah.
Bow Tie Cinemas. Maybe they'll slide us some money or free tickets.
Oh God.
Anyway, all right, let's get down to business. Tenet. Okay, now that we told you how we went to the movies, do you think this movie was worth, risking it and going to the theater?
My God.
Because,
Damn.
well,
Jesus
it's a big
Christ.
thought, Because, it's a Christopher Nolan film. Everyone's like, how dare we watch it in our TVs or some people on, a computer screen? You know what I mean? Did it provide for you, that Christopher Nolan feel in the movie theater?
Might go.
Oh, okay. I didn't know who was going first. It's so tricky to answer your question, but Christopher Nolan movies are to be experienced on as big a screen as possible, I think. Or if not, more importantly, with the biggest speakers. Because of how interpolated the sound goes along with the action on screen. I thought it was completely worth it for us to go. I mean, I was itching to go to the movies because I haven't been to the movies in so long. And this was definitely worth seeing. There was a lot of hype and excitement around it. And I was not disappointed by the experience.
Yeah, same. I think that the sound is really what brought it to the level. It was vibrating through our chairs, which heightened your emotions of what's going on. And if anyone has seen Christopher Nolan films, it's always about the drawn out intensity. So being in that movie theater, when I was just I feel inside I was oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I'm in a movie theater, oh my God. But I was this is why I like to go to the movie theater. It's
Yes.
a whole experience. So I think it was worth it. Do I think the story and the visuals were super necessary to be that big in my face? Maybe I feel different because COVID, but I was I can watch this at home and still feel really, really great. But I think that sound and theater element brought so much more to it.
Yeah. Christopher Nolan's vision is always predicated on the breadth and scope of cinema. He envisions things in IMAX.
Yeah.
And he designs scenes to be seen. You have to turn your head in the theater to see some of the things. And that tactile experience I'm always going to be hyped for. And Nolan always brings that. I'm going to say this was definitely worth if you can do it safely, yeah. This is, if you're a cinephile, you're really into film, you're really into movies, this is one of the joints to break fast on. And just be all right, get your hazmat on, go into the rotating room and come out.
Okay, and then story-wise, Nolan level, where do you see this one? Is it above Inception or below Batman? What do you think?
That's a fair question.
Whoa.
That's a fair question. I thought, in comparison to other Nolan films, this one did the most, I felt, through exposition, trying to help folks get the concept while acknowledging how fucking nuts some of this is. Because you have moments
Yes.
you have moments where the characters themselves are huh? But not huh dumb. Just huh
Right.
wow, this is blowing my mind. But it was done in a natural way. We're not talking about Bill and Ted here.
Yeah.
So Nolan always comes with these high concepts and Tenet is no different. But
Yeah.
I feel like this movie did the best job of like articulating that. It gave you enough that you can play. Your imagination still has room to flex around in what you're seeing, and you're questioning everything. And the payoff of the whole experience, I think, for folks is going to be completely worth trying to keep up with it. You know what I mean? But that's where does it rank? I still feel like I enjoy Inception more. I still feel like The Dark Knight, I don't even know if it's fair to compare it because that's part of a trilogy too.
True.
But if
That's
you just
true,
want to go
it's
head to head with
trilogy.
Inception, I would say I still like Inception more, even if I think Tenet might be a better film.
Yeah.
I just enjoyed the concept of the depth of consciousness explored and the cast in Inception just a little bit more than Tenet, but Tenet hangs with it like right there.
Right. I think I totally agree. I think that is how I would put them. I think I still enjoy Inception more because of the levels. I feel like there were so many levels, but Tenet is like the intricacies of film and like what you can do with the perception of time. It's like that one is so much more like inside my brain, whereas like Inception's like, oh my God, I'm in this whole universe of things that like keep chomping away and going deeper. So I agree. I think Tenet definitely is up there, but I think I still like Inception just a little bit better.
Inception had like less stakes, like for the world that it was in.
Right.
But they did a really good job of using the levels to increase the stakes for us, like the viewer.
Right.
Whereas Tenet has
That's true.
much larger stakes for the world at large in the story. And they did a good job of making us be there. Like they made us watch this very intense thing.
Yeah.
I think that I also agree that Tenet is a better movie. But Inception's a lighter experience. You don't feel as you don't feel like you're gonna die too.
That's fair. That's a great point, friends. Like, and then for people that might not have gotten this from the trailers, Tenet is very much kind of like a spy type movie, in like agent saving the world type thing. Like Francis is saying, the stakes are higher.
This is James Bond.
It
James Bond.
is Nolan's. If he got to do like a James Bond film, but like on all types of drugs, yes. And you're right. Inception was all about Inception was about the possibilities, and Tenet was more about like the consequence of of fucking with time in Tenet's case and consciousness and reality in the case of Inception.
Yeah.
I think, you can make the argument that the stakes are equal, but we're not going to get into a fucking Steven Universe Adventure Time type fucking discussion about that.
Yeah.
It's great. It's a great film. Tenet was great.
It's a Nolan connected universe. We're going to see the next one that's going to go into some other ethereal idea about time and space and our place in it. So, do we want to read it real quick before we take a break?
We got to.
How many? I don't. Jeez. This is hard.
Yeah, because you can't say what a
I
thing
can't
without
say
giving
without
away
giving
something.
it away.
Everything is a spoiler.
How many? Damn.
Tries? How many attempts?
How many?
No.
Oh no, I can't say that. I don't know.
The fact that it's harder to
How
find
many
an object.
Washingtons? What's his name? How many?
How many John David Washingtons?
How many John David Washingtons do you give it?
That man's beard.
That's a good one.
That
That's a
man's
good one.
beard is immaculate. Like, I have beard envy when I see him. I do.
Yeah, it was great.
I really do. And watch it be like a prosthetic or some shit, and I'm be like, fuck.
No.
So how many John David Washingtons do I give it?
Yeah.
9.6 out of 10.
Woo! I agree. I will give it a 9 John David, what did I say? Washingtons. I thought I got it backwards. That's hilarious.
Washington.
The name of this episode. I thought I got it backwards. Anyway. Yeah, I give him 9.
Yeah, I'm definitely going with a 9.5. 9.5.
Okay.
See it
All right.
if you can safely.
Safely.
Yes, definitely. Safely. Although it'll probably be streaming soon, right? It's like 17
Hopefully.
days later.
I'd love to watch it again. I'd absolutely love to watch it again.
I'll definitely
Oh yeah,
watch
rewatch
it
value
again.
was high.
Faux show. All right, y'all. We're going to take a break. Or how you say break backwards? Kierb.
We got to be
Kierb.
careful with this. I'm not trying to have motherfuckers listening to this on their Bluetooth speakers and demon arms start coming out the fucking ground because we want to be fancy and speak backwards.
Because it's a summon.
Hey, Daryl, help her say that backwards with your audio tricks. There you go.
There are wolf faces in the williams. There are rat faces in the 701. That would be as it's like. And we're back from the break. No.
Wow.
All right, y'all. Try to figure that out on their break. Do a puzzle, Sudoku or something. And then come back. We're gonna reflect on RBG and the new unindictment of Breonna Taylor's murders. It's sad to say we're coming back to Brigham, but very important. So do a Sudoku. We'll be back. Okay, and we're back. I hope you all successfully solved that Sudoku.
I really hate
And-
Sudoku. I don't know if I kept hearing you suggest it. I hate it, but yeah.
I have never played.
Don't.
It has never happened.
Don't.
It seems really complicated and annoying. So that's fine. I won't do that. All right. So in our not question section, because it's not a question today, it's a reflection. I want to talk about RBG, which we don't say rest in peace. You have to say rest in power. Well, everyone's been saying, they're like, she's Jewish.
Yes, she's Jewish. She's not.
She's not Christian.
Yeah.
And the recent not indictment of Breonna Taylor's murderer, because it was, well, the other one also wasn't indicted, but he wasn't being charged. And just kind of what we see is happening in the world. So first I want to honor RBG, but also talk about how they are trying real hard to put someone new in that seat. And I think a lot of, we're all a little scared. We're all a little scared about how it's going to go down, and hopefully we can wait until the election is over. Although who knows what's even going to happen in the election.
There's a lot on the table. A lot of, and it's like, why is this TV and movie podcast talking about this thing? And it's like, as quiet as kept, is like culture influences policy a lot, and there are the ramifications for people's rights are like on the table, and those rights end up becoming the types of laws that influence the types of media that gets made and how representation plays out. And between, Ruth Bader Ginsburg's passing and Breonna Taylor's murder and non-indictment of her killers is like, what is going to be allowed, what stories are about to be allowed to be told and how and when. And that shit is on the table right now.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to ask. I was going to say, what do you see as the future of stories from here? Because even, we're about to talk about the Chicago 7 trailer. What creations are going to be made from these outrages and this also like so much sorrow?
It's hard for me to imagine the art of the future while still seeing events unfold now. But whatever art, and that's such a broad term, I know, but for lack of a better one, whatever comes from what we're seeing today will be a reflection of, I feel like, the disintegration of the veil when it comes to what people will do for power,
Right.
versus what they proclaim their values are. That's being removed.
Yeah.
And we're seeing folks who, during Obama's time said 9 months is too soon to an election to fill a vacant
Right.
Supreme Court seat.
Like,
We should
right fucking now.
we should let the people decide. Even though, if according to my understanding of the Constitution, the president that's one of the things they're supposed to do is elect
Right.
judges for the Supreme Court. But now they're saying let the people decide, and now, fucking less than 2 months from the election, now it's not too soon to let the people decide.
Right.
So what we're seeing, just further removal of that disingenuous, facetious veil of the power grabs that people in our country are doing to its own people. So that art will reflect that. And it sounds like a dystopian, fascist, tyrannical future, but we're just seeing it being unmasked like probably never before for all to see.
Yeah, and I think that like we're beginning to see the art that has come from it. This is why shows like Watchmen get made, and this is why shows like Lovecraft Country can go to the levels they go to, because these things are real and these things are happening. They have happened, and they continue to happen. So, and I had this conversation with my coworker. It was like, well, why do we need more of these? I think I talked about it a little bit in the first time we spoke about Lovecraft, but it was like, why do we need a sci-fi story about these horrific things in our history? And it's like, there's no way for us to imagine, or for some people to imagine the horrors really, unless you have it against something just as terrible. Like, you can't fathom the new world without people like the filmmakers, the writers, the novelists, the poets who can imagine beyond what's happening around us right now. Like, and that's what you mentioned, Mike. Like, it's hard to imagine a future when it's happening all around you. And I feel like there are people out there who are doing it and have done it. Whatever inspired them to say, yes, we're doing Lovecraft Country was, probably because something happened then. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, Trayvon Martin, we got to do this or we got to make that. So it's sad how, these very amazing things are created. And I hope that they do something, like the art does something.
I'm gonna flex a different hat. The folks that the conservatives are looking to replace RBG, Amy Coney Barrett, is looking to do away with precedent as a function of the law.
What do you mean?
Like, how Roe versus Wade makes it so that it's like Roe versus Wade, the precedent set by that case determines how that law is interpreted in the country.
But they can't do that. That's not what.
Well, this woman is she a whole ass, grown ass judge and has been writing papers about
doing away with legal precedent.
That doesn't make any.
Because then you have to judge everything in the moment.
In the moment, right?
Based on popular whatever.
Right.
So if there's a conservative majority and his lifetime,
she wants
this shit is crazy.
This movie writes itself.
She wants to do away with one of the most important tenets of our judicial system.
I see what you did there. I was like, but with that, then just leaning forward is like, so when stories about Breonna Taylor get told later, these precedents determine how they can be told.
Woo.
So this shit is wild.
That's crazy.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some legal precedents I'm sure I'd love to see done away with, but
sure.
In the framework of her being nominated by this administration, I'm frightened.
It's dangerous. Yeah. The apocalypse is now.
You know what?
All right.
What if, you're over here looking at a future. The future wrote us.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All right. So on that note,
This is the part where we do the thing and we spoil the shit out of everything.
Keep this shit a secret, man.
someone has to say Spoilae now. Whose turn is it?
Mike, you said it last time?
No, I didn't. So it's my turn?
I think it is your turn.
All right, so I'm going to say it, but I want Daryl to reverse it and echo it. All right? Okay.
Here we go.
It's
That's gonna sound hilarious sometime. All right, for our listeners, this is the section where we talk about a movie and TV show, but we spoil the shit out of it. So if you haven't seen episodes 4, 5, and 6 of Lovecraft Country, please turn this off. I don't want to spoil that for you. You should really go watch it and experience it on your own.
Then you could come back.
And same for Tenet. Yeah, come back. Come back, listen to it. You can use the timestamp and skip straight to it. And also Tenet. I don't want to spoil that for you because honestly, I feel like a spoiler for Tenet would really fuck up your head. You'd be there like, I think I know what's happening because I heard. But
I thought I knew.
maybe. Just don't do it. All right. So Lovecraft, episodes 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to jump right into the most controversial thing, and that is character Yahima. That is in episode 4, right? The characters have basically their Indiana Jones quest.
I was going to say,
this is the Indiana
Jones episode.
Literally the Indiana Jones episode. So they go to Boston because they want to find this dude's missing pages. What's his name?
Titus?
Titus's pages that Winthrop stole.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Man,
It's hard to keep track, honestly, of that whole lore, but it comes back in little pieces. You're like, okay, I get it. So they go to Boston, they find this underground cavern thing, and now it's definitely
Which is under a
Last
museum.
Crusade. It's under the museum. It's like, it's amazing. But they come upon this character who is indigenous, and they, because the pronoun would be they, are two-spirited. And the biggest controversy in this that I've seen is, one, people are saying, as soon as they see Yahima, the characters start calling them she, when in reality it would be they. But also it's the visual of showing their genitals was like not warranted. There was no reason. And then obviously we're in the Spoilae section. The fact that they're murdered at the end of the episode. So I want to get y'all's thoughts. What do we think about Yahima, and how did you feel?
Like, okay, so when you say Yahima should have been referred to as they and not she, that's not something that I think any of the 3 characters who met her would be aware of. So
Right.
I'm not going to attack the show for that. As far as the gratuitous nudity, I don't know. Magic brought her flesh back but couldn't bring clothes back. I don't know. That was a choice they made. And then yes, the character is then murdered by having their throat slit. So when that happened, I'm embroiled in like the narrative. Like the dad, who's probably not the dad, has this moment.
Probably not the dad.
Has this moment with his son, who's probably not his son. And I'm like, this ending is way too square. And then, boom, he further silences perhaps the only means they would have to discovering more about the language of Adam that they're trying to seek. I was shocked because I didn't expect the death. I didn't look at it with I'll admit, I did not look at it with the entire like, oh damn, like you're gonna introduce a native, but then just boom, just they're gone. Like I didn't see it as much as that as I saw a narrative thread being snipped. So I'm admitting that. But I mean, yeah, if we're talking about 4, 5, and 6 episodes, that was one of the most controversial things for sure that occurred in those 3 episodes. One of them, yes.
Yeah.
I thought it was sad. I was really happy to see the character. I did like the idea of the misgendering. I was like, I chalk it up to the time period. Nobody was saying that. She, great. I was like, okay, that happened. To hear them speak in an indigenous language, I almost like teared up because seeing representations of that are so rare still. Even rarer still to be Two-Spirit and acknowledge it and then say the words Two-Spirit. I was like, there's a lot of happening right here that's making me really like emotional. I was like, oh man, this is great. I'm so glad that this is happening. And then when they get bodied by Montrose, I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
And I just my instinct went right to the world at large, and I'm like, it even looks worse that a black man is doing it.
Yeah.
But it's not just a black man. We learned later, a black queer man.
Oh my goodness. The levels.
Right. So, and then it was damn.
Yeah, that's kind of what I felt. Like, I was so excited to see an indigenous character. I was like, well, of course, this makes so much sense. Like, of course, an indigenous person would be able to read the pages, number one. That's so smart. And then having indigeneity in a story that's talking about the creation of the world, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Did not ignore First Peoples. You know what I mean? Like, and I started thinking about all the other stories that have ignored First Peoples or used them inappropriately, and even in like Indiana Jones, how they did that. And it's like, this made me gave me so much life. And I was very sad when their throat got slit at the end by Montrose. Because, yeah, one, I was like, optics, not the best. And two, I just wanted to keep going with this character. And like, when you said, Mike, you were like, it was too clean. I was like, he's right, though. It was.
But can I just interject there real quick?
Yeah.
So, another thing about this show is that there is magic,
right?
Seemingly, right? And we saw this character be basically brought back to life from death,
like reanimated.
Well, I'm just saying, this show, unlike The Boys, where I think anyone could die at any moment because that's the precedent set there. Right. This show, I don't see death as any sort of finality for anyone, because the show has already demonstrated some sort of link with those that have passed. It has shown us reanimation. The possibilities of this show lead me to believe there will be a moment when Montrose and this character are once again face to face, because
that's what I was thinking.
That's why I'm not like mourning it the same way. I do think we're going to see this character again. And I think because once we learned that Montrose was queer,
right,
I think his character deserves to be confronted by what he did. Because his inner struggles resulted in taking down someone who, like, there's too much going on there.
Right.
For it to have ended in that chair in a bloody mess.
Yo, that's how I feel too. I feel like
I'm expecting that.
It was a character thing.
I'm expecting that kind of. So I yeah, you're right though. The imagery, the symbolism of it right now, the immediacy of it, it doesn't look good. The visuals and the optics, like you said. But I am willing to. I actually think that will come back around somehow.
Yeah, I saw someone post, they were like, look, I know Misha Green's work. This is all going to come together. And I was like, oh, good. I mean, like, I don't want to say, like, yeah, just come back to life. But, like, come back to life? We'll see. Okay, so I know we got to keep moving, but want to go to the next episode, unless you guys have dying.
No, we good.
Okay, so the Metamorphosis episode where we see Ruby is kind of like, not with her permission, changed into a white woman. So she ends up sleeping with William, right? And wakes up as the white woman that we've seen before in episode 1, right? Well, I forget what her name was, but she was the one who had the dogs. And she was like, when they went to the tower, right? She was the sheriff or whatever, or something like that. So she wakes up looking like that woman and like,
oh, I'm
has
stupid. I didn't even notice that it was that woman, but you're right.
Yeah, it's the same woman. And like that whole scene where she's like in the street and then the cops are like, are you okay? What did he do to you? I was dying. And I was like scared for a second too, because I was like, yo, they're about to kill this boy right in front of you. You're going to say something?
The special effects in this episode, I made a mistake of
oh my God.
watching this episode while I was eating dinner.
No. Oh.
I made
that shredded pork.
I made the same mistake of watching episode 6 while I was eating dinner. and
damn.
Yeah, so pro tip for our viewers, our listeners and all that stuff. Do not be eating food while you're watching this. Tremendous, hauntingly fucking vivid special effects in this episode in particular. Episode
like
5.
It's right up there with Trick or Treat for me.
Oh, the transformation? Yeah.
The transformation in werewolf? Yo.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
But
oh my God.
Yeah. Powerful episode though.
But
Cardi B was the soundtrack of this entire thing.
Oh yeah, that's right. And Rihanna, right?
Yep.
Didn't Rihanna show, or that was this episode?
But there was at least 2 Cardi songs in one episode here.
I loved it.
That were referenced.
I was all about it.
And Ruby, I mean, I've liked her from like Jump as a character.
Oh yeah, I love her character.
She's so full of life and vibrant. I love how she handles her sister. For her shit. And this episode was like very, very powerful because they had like as a background story to the main story, she's been applying for the job at that shopping place, the store. And she was denied, even though she was clearly overqualified for the position. And to have this flip and have this character go through that, only to find out that the person that allowed her to do so was somebody who was kind of doing it themselves, not necessarily with their skin color, but in this case with their gender. It was one of those like, damn, like if the shoe fits, shoe on the other foot, glass house, pile of rocks. It was all those metaphors. Like I don't know where to land on it, but I feel like it had something for everybody's bias.
Yeah. That's why I think the episode for me, like I like to call it, like it was the conversation across the table, because my favorite moment is when you find Ruby, she's covered in the guts, and she's talking to Christina, and Christina's like, yeah, I know how you feel as a woman, and she was like, shut the fuck up, and I was like, thank you, Jesus. Thank you for doing this scene. I needed to hear a black woman tell a white lady to shut the fuck up.
Yes. And Christine could be told to shut the fuck up several more times. She definitely...
Several more times.
But, I mean...
What this...
Go ahead, friends. I'm sorry.
What this episode did for me actually was start to deepen the questioning and the mythology of things. Because if they could make Ruby wake up looking like that lady... from town, was that lady from that town actually that lady from that town?
What?
Because she had the same whistle that Christina had, so was that actually Christine? Like, I was like, what? Who is it? Like, what is actually happening?
You're right.
He makes a good point.
You're right. Just like in my mind, I'm thinking death is probably not as much of a thing in this show. You're right, France. It's like who is actually who and when.
Who is who
in this shit? You're right.
I'm gonna start thinking like if I've ever seen 2 people in a room together. Do you know what I mean? Like
Batman theory.
But also like to piggyback on that, Christina had sex with Ruby.
Yeah.
As a man.
As a man.
As a man.
It's phenomenal. I love it.
I don't know if phenomenal is the word I would use, but
it's amazing.
But it's interesting that these characters, in terms of where you can, there's no hole or pigeon for any of these characters.
No,
Right.
which I love. The character that seems the most rigid is the main character.
Yeah.
He seems,
which in a minute we'll talk
more about him.
about.
But he seems to be the most rigid and unwilling of accepting anything outside of what he believes is the way than any of the other characters. He seems the most inflexible to me. And I think that is really interesting.
The only thing I'll say about this episode that I think rubbed a lot of kind of black women the wrong way was like, right, so this black woman turns into a white woman. One, I was like, oh, is this what we need right now? But then, like, you know, obviously it's to serve the character and the story, and it created the best conversations. But the treatment of the other black woman in the store, that was like, damn, like, this fucking sucks. Like, the sister hate that went on.
It sucks.
And you get it.
It does.
It sucks. It's Ruby's character. It's obviously rooted in all the times, like you mentioned, her trying to apply to the store, and then she sees this other black woman just get it because she applied on a whim. But it's like, the fact that she is a white woman, and then, you know, treating her that way, I'm like, damn it. Treat her that way as a black woman, and then you can have a conversation. Like when she said to her, like, she's like started freaking out. She's like, "You're not pulling your weight here," and all this stuff. And I was like, "No."
That was Ruby, not to excuse it, but that was Ruby looking at that other black woman as maybe as younger, as more petite, as less qualified. Like she was taking unfairly. She was taking out all her frustration instead of lifting, her up. She was definitely taking on that whiteness and the but I think all the characters are going through this where they're being identified as one way by us, but through the magic of the show and what's going on, the sci-fi of it, they're being kind of costumed as different things, and then you have to reevaluate what your initial judgment of them was. You know what I mean? It's a very interesting, challenging show in that sense. I'm not saying they're all correct, but I don't know. I like how it fucks with my mind in that way.
Yeah. So kind of quickly, so we can still give some time to Tenet. This last episode we just saw.
6.
Almost fully in Korean. I was very excited about that. Yeah, so we get to see kind of the backstory of Atticus in the war.
Yep.
And this was...
The Korean War.
The Korean War, right.
Yep.
I don't know why I was like, the Vietnam. That doesn't make sense.
Nope.
So in the Korean War, but not from his perspective, which I loved.
Right.
That it was from this character, who I'm forgetting the character name right now.
The nine-tailed fox.
The nine-tailed fox.
I can't remember right now either. What the hell?
But so they are in Korea as a nurse. One, you see her training to be a nurse, but then you also get revealed that she is, what is it again? The nine-tailed fox. And I want to bring this up that we've seen this before.
This character
in Love, Death, and Robots.
Oh.
There's one cartoon character that is the fox that can change into a woman.
Yes, but just to clarify, that I think was more based. I don't know if the Japanese and the Korean mythologies, they're similar in some areas, but
that one was Japanese?
I'm just saying that I don't know how asynchronous the interpretations or the stories are. But to be clear, this is not the fox,
it's
but
not exact on the point.
For our Naruto fans out there. This is based on like Korean mythology, like, that type of stuff.
Well, this was about a lot of this had to do with the post-Japanese incursion,
right,
and all of that. So there was a lot going on there. So there's some synchronicity there in the myths. But Aisha, you were saying?
No, I'm just saying that was exciting to see this character and unexpected. Like I went into this episode with no expectations, but like we get to see this woman character sucking souls through her vagina.
Well, through everything.
And then through every orifice. And then we also get to see, like, the terrible side of Atticus. Because this whole time through, I've been like, oh, he's so sweet. Like, he's got, like, he obviously has rage like any other black man. But, like...
No clean hands when it comes to the soldiers.
None. He, like... just no emotion, shot that woman in the head right next to her. Yeah, he did. And I was like, oh, I'm very, like, I like that this character has this kind of
Dark side.
Not side to him, but like, I don't want him to shoot any more people in the head, but like, I like that he is even more nuanced than I thought. He's got some battle scars, dude.
Definitely. This explains a lot of the heaviness the character of Atticus seems to be walking around with all the time. You know, it's because motherfucker knows he's done some shit. The episode.
France found her name.
Oh, what's the meme?
Oh, the actress is Jamie Chung, and she plays Jia.
Gia. G.
Nice.
Ah.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that it was in Korean, because usually they do like, oh, everyone just has a Korean accent. And you're like, that doesn't make sense.
She loves Judy Garland.
Oh my God, I know.
There was a lot at play. A lot.
Yeah,
Well,
I really enjoyed. I
imagine-
really enjoyed the episode. I was surprised though that it didn't like end with like the episode ended, but didn't tail end back into the present. So I'm like, is next episode still going to take place? Like it's open ended of where they could go next with the next episode.
Well, I think the next episode is Anjanou Ellis, the Hippolyta's character, going I think it's either through time or through different dimensions.
Oh, you guys saw the trailer for the next episode? I didn't watch it, so that's why I said I don't know.
Oh man, sorry. I guess I'll stop. That would be spoilers for the next
This
episode.
is the
if you
Spoilae
haven't watched
section.
the little
I should have been ready for that. But it does end. But still, the episode ends interestingly because it doesn't like bring you back. It leaves it open ended. I'm thinking maybe at some other point they could still continue it, you know, without having to.
Yeah. Well, I think we're gonna come back to her for sure.
Yeah.
And she saw Atticus' death. That was the big reveal.
Right.
Well,
Need to know what that
which
was all
also
about.
means that she doesn't have to kill someone to access their soul memories.
No, she just
Yeah.
it's just the tip.
100%. All right. Great episodes. I'm really excited for this Anjanou Ellis episode coming up. We'll revisit Lovecraft Country maybe after the finale, but I think let's move on to Tenet. I wanted to go, wah, but that's Inception.
Bass.
It had a similar thing.
They had similar bass and the horns.
Okay, so we talked about in the no spoiler a little bit about the exposition. Let's talk more about how this exposition played a part, because it was like one of my favorite things about the movie. It was like basically Nolan telling everyone else who was like, none of your movies make sense. That doesn't make sense in Inception. He was like, it doesn't have to make sense. Like, just feel it.
No,
Literally a line from the movie.
Tenet was justice for Cedric Diggory. I mean, in the third book, they have time travel, but don't apply it to save his life in the fourth book. Tenet makes that right. Tenet fixes that. We got you, Cedric. We got you.
I was going to say, oh no, Mike hasn't seen Cursed Child. That's the premise of Cursed Child. He gets a time turner and goes back in time. This is Harry Potter's son to save Cedric Diggory. So maybe it becomes Tenet.
Oh my God. Oh, man.
And yeah, we have Cedric Diggory. What's his name?
Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson.
Bruce Wayne. Let's get used to it.
Yeah, he was definitely Bruce Wayne in this movie. I'll say that. After watching Tenet, I was like, okay, I'll see you as Bruce Wayne. I wish he was this Tenet character as Bruce Wayne, because in the trailers, he just looks like emo Bruce Wayne. So I wish, I mean, maybe, we don't know. Movie's not done yet because he is sick.
As of now, he should be
gets
okay,
out of
I think it's been more than 2 weeks.
I hope he's okay.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so the exposition. France, you want to talk about it?
The exposition was the movie, which is weird to say, but
It's true.
But the design of the movie, like the use so the movie's about time and moving through time. So the exposition is only revealed in the use. Like you wouldn't know what the hell was going on unless you went through time with someone, which they do several times.
Yo, that's why watching this movie twice needs to happen. Like what you just said needs to be said forward and backwards for me to understand it.
The way
I get it, though.
You know, the way a narrative is designed, you tell a story from beginning to end. So many time travel movies have tried to play with that idea, but have never really landed it in a way that is grounded.
Yeah.
And this is one of the, maybe the third time ever in a piece of media where time travel is explained through the audience traveling through time.
Well, you know what I think is an important distinction for everyone who sees this movie? It's not about time travel, it's about time movement. So nothing is going through time. Like we're not going to the past per se. Like you are and you aren't. It's that you are moving in time differently. Do you know what I mean?
There's no disembodied time.
Right.
I was like, nothing appears out of nowhere. You follow everything that shows up that you can see, you follow. You've seen it before and you are following it, or it's catching up to you.
Right.
The whole time.
Yeah.
And that's why Robert Pattinson's character always says, what happened has happened.
Yeah.
Right. Like the ink is dry. The ink is dry on the page. But it's just a matter of like where your finger's at, following along. Because what we learn in the movie, in Tenet, is how things have already played out.
Right.
It's a matter of kind of making sure that they do. In a way, it's weird.
And being in the right place at the right time. For the thing that has happened.
Right.
Yeah.
But the movie starts with this whole idea that not everybody's cut out to be able to do this work.
Right.
Because we find that the protagonist, who has no name, similar to the movie Layer Cake. The main
The
main character.
He's the protagonist.
Yeah, the main character he's never named in the entire film.
I never noticed. It's like Fleabag.
It's like Hero.
Or like Layer Cake
what?
with Daniel Craig.
Right. I was like,
Guys, my mind is being blown even more
He
right
says
now.
several times, I am the protagonist. And it's, yes, you are. You clearly are. But
oh my God.
such a great film. It's not the visual, like, surrealist stuff that Inception gave us. Another, the other Nolan project we talked about in the non-spoiler. It's not on that scale. But what they do with some of the action scenes, the choreography, running it backwards and forwards, and us getting to see the in and the out of those events are like tremendous. They're fun. It was a great ride. Well acted. The acting was great all across. And this is one of those movies that inspired me to like go and see what other people's takes were. I didn't get this from watching it the first time. I'm hoping the second time when I go to watch it, it'll hit. But apparently, okay, so Robert Pattinson's character, Neil, his name is Neil,
That's
right?
what his name was?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right,
So
right.
it's basically, what we're supposed to get from this is that Neil is the lady's son.
Which lady?
The lady that he helps.
The Vicky, the character, the lady who does the diving.
Right. Her son's name is Max, which is short for Maximilian. And if you flip Leon at the end of Maximilian, you get Neil. And
no.
And so apparently he grows up to be that guy.
Stop it.
That's a hell of a theory.
I have to go back and watch it again too,
it's not
because
a theory.
you can't.
Because I was watching the different takes of different, YouTube things, and I just can't remember how they made it make sense. But I'm like, oh yeah, that's how they known each other for so long, and why it was so important to help her. Because like if you watch it, you're like, oh cool, he helped someone. But in the larger scheme of things, helping her...
I was like, why are they helping her so much?
Right, helping her was actually like super important. in the long
plan. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And that is so funny because if you think about, the big thing is that the protagonist is the one who's in charge, right? He's the one running everything that's going on. So his gut, he trusts one of his versions of himself's gut instinct to save this woman. Right? Because everyone's like, leave her, it's not worth it. And he's like, no, we have to. And then, Neil's like, all right. Like, they did this whole ass secondary mission. You know what I mean? And I was like, this is a lot for this lady. But, I guess you need her to keep him alive. So I went along with it in that regard. But now I want to watch the movie again.
Again, knowing that.
So, one, see if Neil and his child self ever come in contact. Because remember, they were like,
They don't.
Don't connect with yourself.
Yeah, right? Because you
They
never
said it'll
know.
be bad.
But it was like...
I was hoping it would be like Time Cop and they merged together and turned into
But when
a
they
puddle.
said don't connect with yourself, it's interesting because what they kind of meant was, like when he was driving the car down the highway,
Right.
don't
see
get in the same
yourself?
car. Don't see yourself. Like in that.
Oh, okay.
But what if you're seeing like a far distant version of yourself with the same thing? You know what I mean? It's
Right. It would be like Umbrella Academy. You can start farting and then you get the sweats.
But doesn't he see him? No, he sees. He does. Doesn't he see himself at some
But
point?
not like together. They're not like eye to eye. They don't acknowledge each other. I think he sees like the back of his head
maybe the
or
back of
something
his
like
head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that.
Oof.
Yeah. And I mean, all of that I kind of want to touch on before we move on is kind of the choreography and like these explosive scenes that they made work. Because you don't know what they filmed forward and then rewound or what was just in the choreography to make sure, like, were they fighting backwards? Like, the fuck?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, the answer is
yes.
yes.
And yes and
It's yes.
yeah.
As yes and yes. There is the only little bit of behind the scenes stuff that they leaked prior to the film coming out is John David Washington's rehearsal of the scene where in the hallway scene fighting in two directions, and some of the choreography is designed in reverse. So he's moving in for us, like in real life, behind the scenes, he's doing moves that look like they're in reverse. So whoever he's partnered with is, when it looks like he's being pushed, he's being pulled.
Right.
Or pulled and being pushed.
Right.
Jumping and really landing, like in real time. So when it plays out in the story, there are points where when the fight is played in one direction, the protagonist is in control. And then when reversed, the protagonist is in control because it's the other person.
Oh my God. I'm just like learning that choreography would have been one, I think really exciting for me. I love when I get choreography down, but like also something impossible. Like
I didn't really get it
it's dancing.
until the gun scene, until the moment where the first time we watched it, a gun leapt from someone's hand down the hallway. But when we watch it the second time, you realize that person is the protagonist with the knowledge of the inverted world.
Yes.
And is catching the gun.
Yes.
Right.
Like actively, I was like, this shit is crazy.
Yes. The rules, I mean,
Yeah.
if you try to bend your head around what the rules this movie sets for us, I don't think you can enjoy it as much. Just
Yeah.
like, I don't know, if you try to understand all the ins and outs of the intricacies of the time, just they give you like a couple
Right.
of simple rules, like, if you know something fell in the present or whatever, you can kind of reverse that direction. Like you can catch it, like France said, that gun.
Yeah.
We get that. We get the don't look at yourself. And there was one other rule I don't remember. Oh, with the oxygen and all that stuff. Those are like the three.
Which I thought was clever.
Those are like the three basic things. And then once you get that, the action is so well done. Kenneth Branagh, shout out to him, had some great lines. He plays the antagonist.
Oh my God.
He's the antagonist of this film.
so good.
Yeah, he did great. There were great performances all around. And it was just, I highly recommend people go see this movie.
I have to say, it was because it's super important to having John David Washington as a black man protagonist.
He was great.
and have them be so competent and not more competent than anyone else, but to live in that world and contextualize a black person in that world.
Yes.
Yeah.
And to legitimize how he moves, how he walks,
Yes.
how he talks.
Oh my God.
There are no black leading men with giant beards
Yeah.
in 90% of movies. That's just not a thing.
And then let alone that he was orchestrating the whole thing. He actually is in charge. And we don't know which versions of himself are talking to who.
He Nick Fury'd himself.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and so then, but that's the thing, like one of himself is like super confident, right? When he's like, the little things I think is what came all together. He's like in the suit and this, and like people are like, oh, you walk the walk, talk, but like you're not really a billionaire. Like you need to learn more. But he's still so confident because he's like, it doesn't fucking matter. Like he might already know. Like we don't know which version of him already knows how to do this and what to say and what to do. So I don't know. It blew my mind, and it was very exciting, like Fran said, to see a black character doing all that and not pretending and not assuming on whiteness. You know, it wasn't like, okay, I have to be this certain, way that, white men would
There was
operate
no
in the world.
built-in exchange that felt like a qualification for him being anywhere or doing anything. It was done, it was shot and written so well and acted out so well that it's like it was just, yo, he's the protagonist, bro. Like that's it.
Yeah.
And you just went with it, and they sold everything. Everyone did. It was just great. I love that there didn't have to be a moment like that where we see so often with other narratives with a super intelligent or capable person of color. There's like this moment where there's an exchange where they show how smart they are. No, he was just as fallible, didn't know some things sometimes, but he always was able to super agent his way through it because inevitably, like Aisha's saying, this is his mission.
It's all him. Yeah. All right, so let's get into some trailers.
This is the trailer time.
Okay, so coming soon, we're gonna kind of do I don't want to say rapid fire, but let's just give our 2 cents. So Mandalorian season 2. Yeah, France, why don't you go first?
Dope, hype. The introduction of the Jedi in the mix, super important and hype. And if memory serves, that's a wrestler. That like a newer and like really popular wrestler as a Jedi in the trailer. And I was like, oh snap, what?
Oh,
it was
Banks.
a lot.
Yeah, her last name was Banks. I forgot.
Yeah, I was like, that's wild. But then having
Sasha Banks.
Yes, Sasha Banks. Anyway, yeah, that's wild. Physicality and a role for a Jedi. I'm with it.
We don't know who she's playing though.
She a Jedi.
I know.
We don't know that.
He keeps saying she's a Jedi, but I don't remember that.
She Eminem.
Wow.
I was like, I don't remember them showing she was a Jedi, but I like this idea.
I thought that she was probably Sabine, because Sabine is supposed to be in this shit. I thought she could be Sabine with Ahsoka.
It's more likely that she be it's more likely that she be Sabine.
And we're also supposed to see Katie Sackhoff as what's the name of the Mandalorian woman who had the Blacksaber last time on Clone Wars or Rebels or whatever the fuck.
I was gonna say a lot of it seemed like Clone Wars was sneaking in.
People. I'm forgetting her name, and I don't know the Star Wars names. But anyway, Katie Sackhoff, who voiced the character in the animated show, is going to be in the show too, probably.
Okay. I had no idea what I was seeing or watching. Things were happening, and I was like...
You saw money.
Okay.
You saw money because the special effects. And yeah, so they're not skimping back on that.
Yeah, I saw Baby Yoda, so still Baby Yoda.
Still a baby.
Yeah, that's the money for them.
He grew like half an inch. You don't think so? Like half
Did
an inch?
Did he? I believe that. Maybe he got another wrinkle.
Little Adam's apple.
He's going to be a teenager. It's like a Groot situation. But no, I'm of course I'm excited. I don't see why I wouldn't be.
Drops October.
The blacksmith.
Yeah.
The blacksmith.
The Mandalorian blacksmith. Their voice is still in the game. I was like, okay.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
We never knew she made it out of that last fight.
Yes. She's alive.
hyped.
She better
Anyway.
be.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And this drops,
She's,
what,
like,
October
narrating.
30th, I think, or 31st, something like that?
Oh, crap. That's like soon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does that mean they filmed season 1 and 2 at the same time, you think?
No,
No.
they just had because they had the volume, they didn't need, it's like
Well,
social distancing was not a issue really.
Huh. All right. Dope. All right. So this one for me is actually very exciting because it came on during the Emmys. That's when I saw this trailer. WandaVision.
Oh.
I don't know what is happening.
Yes. I don't know how much I wanted to hear you say that.
I don't have any idea what's going on.
Good.
But it feels wrong. Like something's wrong. You know, like, you know, when all of a sudden someone like wakes up and they're in like a hologram and they don't know it and they're like, am I dreaming? That's what I feel like is going on. But I'm also excited to find out what the fuck this is. I was like, I Love Lucy, maybe?
I mean, it's a series based on a comic book
Dick Van
series
Dyke?
that came out called Wanda and Vision. Which
No, I know.
you knew about the comic book?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know what happens in the comic book. I knew it was a comic book. I'm just
Basically,
saying, watching this trailer.
The sensation that you're having right now means that at least tonally, they nailed it. Like exactly. You should feel disturbed based on all your knowledge of the MCU. Yes. Based on where they left you after Endgame and all that stuff. Yes. You should feel disturbed. You should be worried. And hopefully the show will, be entertaining as well as explanatory for what the fuck and why the fuck we are in this sitcom-y type of scenario with Wanda and the I thought he was fucking dead, which they address in the trailer too, Vision.
I know.
I'm very excited for this
and you know
too.
how much I love Vision.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
Well, there's a really dope scene where a black woman is pulled through the TV and lands in the grass.
Yeah.
And for those who do not know, that is Monica Rambeau, Spectrum. Like, that is the introduction of that character in the original, like in one of the original, in the comic books. There's like a secondary origin because it had been a minute since she got, but Tiana Paris plays that character, and that's who's been cast to be Spectrum, who is was original Captain Marvel, is OD, but the
little
implications
black
of
girl
MCU are
from the
insane.
Captain Marvel movie, basically, for folks.
Yeah.
She's all grown up now.
She's their daughter. She's Captain Marvel and this girl's daughter. All grown up.
Where's the jacket? I hope we see the jacket.
Yeah, with the jacket.
Hope we see the jacket. But yeah, excited for that. And that's going to be our first taste of Phase 4 narrative this year. Coming this year.
When does that? That one's soon, right?
That was even sooner.
Yeah, like isn't it like mid-October or something like that? I don't know. I'm giving you wrong dates. Maybe that's how I want it to be.
Disney
Because I just
Plus.
want some more things to watch.
Keep your eyes
the
on Disney
Disney
Plus.
Oh, no. It's just,
That's the French version of Disney Plus. No, it's not. Oh, he's finding dates. Okay, so next we have. Oh man, this one I want to say exactly where I was when France said there's an Attack on Titan trailer. I was like in the bathroom, and he's like, "It's Attack on Titan." I was like, "What? It's Attack on Titan? What?"
For the final season of
I was
Attack
like-
on Titan.
What do you mean?
Yeah, because the manga's ending.
I wish that there was a video watching me watch this trailer. 'Cause I was like, oh, what is that? Oh my God, what does that mean? Who's that? What are they doing? The whole time I was like, oh, there's my boy. Oh my God. Like,
There's
I had
my
no
boy.
idea. It was ridiculous.
But that's good.
honestly.
The final season of Attack on Titan better be ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
that'll be.
I just can't believe it's the final season because there's just still so many questions that have been added and no answers from the last time. So they better answer this scroll of questions I have.
We got plenty of answers in season 3. I don't think it's fair to say we didn't get answers.
Okay, you're right. There were some answers.
Yeah.
It just led to more questions.
They just,
Then there
exactly.
were other
They led
questions.
to colossal
Yeah.
sized questions.
Those answers gave me questions.
Those answers
Yeah.
gave me questions. Yes.
Yeah. So basically, we know one, because I'm always like, the Colossal Titan is now going to be moved to Armin, right? Armin has it now, right? Because he took the thingy and then became the thing and ate him because he was already like dead.
Right.
But they're talking about passing on the armored Titan.
Yeah, I think so.
In the trailer.
Like the other Titan people in the trailer. Yeah.
Right.
And then we see steps again to what seems like another basement. I'm like, we've already been to the basement. Is there more in the basement?
More basements.
Maybe we see the basement's origin. For my Animal Crossing players, we get to see when you pay Tom Nook off and he adds a basement to your house.
Oh, there's home renos in that game? So France had a theory that there's a time jump.
Oh, no, it's definitely time.
Probably.
Connie looks like a grown ass man.
What?
My man has been through shit though.
Still got the buzz cut.
I don't know.
Yeah.
He probably just is showing that
He aged off the realness.
Yeah. Like he's done seeing
He's
people's
just a
mamas
Titan now.
trapped in houses in Titan form. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's over that.
Wait, everyone looks older. Mikasa looks older. Eren looks like fucking this secret agent.
Everybody
What?
just looks like they've been fucking through it. And this season, which is the final season, will finally bring everything to a head, to a conclusion. And I can't wait. I've been able to stay away from spoilers as much as I possibly can, more than any other show or story that I've been following over the last 10 years. I've been able to stay away from them. So I want to enjoy this as much as possible.
Well, when does it happen? 3 years from now.
Dropping, is it December? I think it's December.
The last time I
Wow.
read it was December, but everything is
I think it's
on
December.
a tilt these days.
Wow.
It's this year. It's definitely this year.
See. If it ends and I'm
December.
just going to prepare myself to not get all my answers because I'll be upset. Well, all right. Next and last trailer. I just watched this trailer today. I didn't know what to expect. And I was like, oh, right. Damn. Chicago 7.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is a trailer about iconic protesting the Vietnam War, but including Bobby Seale. And Bobby Seale is played by Yaya.
Academy Award winning.
Academy Award.
We got to say that now.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not.
Oh no, is it Emmy?
Not,
No,
I was like, he's not
Emmy
Academy.
Award winning.
Yeah.
Emmy
He would have to have
Academies
won
of
an
Emmys.
Oscar.
Emily's Academy
The
Award winning.
Academy of Emmys award winning.
Well, if he ever
Yeah,
wins, if he ever wins an Oscar, he should put the Dr. Manhattan symbol on the forehead of it.
Oh my
Oh my
god.
gosh.
I would love
Yes.
that.
For funsies.
But yeah, so I was really excited to see him playing that. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, this is a
I
serious
see you.
cast.
Serious cast. Friggin' this guy's in it.
Sacha Baron Cohen.
Sacha Baron Cohen. That guy amazes me at every turn. Like it just even being freaking like Borat. You're like, I can't believe what the levels to which he can go. The big surprise for me too was Eddie Redmayne. That accent was impeccable.
Yeah, he nailed it.
I did not think, like, he's the most British man to ever exist since a Cumberbatch. So
I don't know if he's the most
him doing
British
an American
man.
accent.
Come on.
I don't know.
Come on.
Sir David Attenborough, he just got an IG and broke the record for fastest to 1 million followers. Shout out to the 94-year-old narrator of the world.
Word. This cast is nuts. There's a lot of Brits. Sacha Baron Cohen, Eddie Redmayne, Mark Rylance from Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. Oh my gosh, I just realized that Frank Langella is in this movie and Michael Keaton. Good gravy. Oh, Fred Hampton is in it?
Well, basically, the film is showing us the trial between the Chicago 7 protesting the Vietnam War, who they are being accused of inciting riots.
Right. So it doesn't feel contemporary at all.
Yeah. It has nothing to do with current times. Solely a period film.
We're all better
But
now.
yeah, obviously, it worked, you know? So here we are now. But it's definitely gonna be heartstring pulling.
This is a Netflix. This is Netflix.
This is it's
film, right?
Netflix.
Yeah.
I
It
don't
is
know.
in theaters as well, though.
Right.
Oh, okay. I don't know if it's out yet.
I think it is. Yeah,
It's
it
out
is.
now?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll watch that one. I don't know. I got to prepare myself. Whew. But it does look really good.
Good
It
trailer.
looks-
It was a good trailer.
Yeah.
They definitely show already in the brief trailer. They show the conflicts and the fact, the presence of the Black Panthers and things like that. It's gonna be cool. I think the movie's gonna be good, and it's important. So I look forward to watching it.
Yeah, 1,000%. I think it's very important, and I think the way it's shot, because it's also written and directed by Aaron Sorkin. So we're gonna see a lot of newsroom. We're gonna see a lot of fast talking, a lot of back and forth, boop, bop, boop, 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 ping pong, and because that's very Aaron Sorkin.
Bop boop bop ping pong. For me, it is.
It is though. That's the way they talk. Like it's like no one takes breaths in Aaron Sorkin.
No
Productions.
not at all.
It's a race to the finish for your lines and the camera cut angles.
That's so good.
But it'll be fun. Obviously, it's going to be exciting. He's going to make a courtroom like, I don't know, sprint.
Yeah. Aaron Sorkin this is strange. Not as strange, but kind of. It's wild that this is coming out right now after he just was on. I think it was CNN, and they were asking him how he would write the election.
Oh.
And he made it. He's like, it was a little long-winded, but kind of like, people are going to do the right thing. And I'm like, which is a very rosy lensed way to
like,
look
what?
at the way things are going now. But then it gives me a little peek into how he's going to make this movie look. And I never really have faith in political retellings.
Yeah.
That are not helmed by the people who were either there or the folks who were arrested. So yeah,
But
it's
it gets your
interesting.
blood boiling.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Thanks for listening. It's been a good show. I've enjoyed talking to you in this last time. I hope you've enjoyed listening to us. And next time, what are we talking? Next time, what? More of the boys. More of the boys.
Definitely more the boys.
Jeez Louise, more of the boys.
Man, we just watched the episode yesterday. I can't wait to talk about it. So,
Yes.
It goes down.
there's dicks. It's gonna be good.
Extendo. All right, anyway,
So check us next time. We talk about the boys. I don't know. I guess, and then another movie.
maybe
We got to go
Chicago
back to the
7.
movies.
Maybe
New
Chicago
Mutants.
7. New Mutants.
Yo, nah, we need to watch. Yeah, we
Old
did need to watch the
mutants.
mutants so we can roast that shit.
New
Old
mutants.
new old mutants.
Old New Mutants.
Aged mutants.
Aged Mutants.
Jesus.
Fermented mutants.
It's a kombucha.
Kombucha mutants. That's
All
for
right,
the title. God damn it.
Remember to like, subscribe, share, comment. Give us a shout out so we can shout you out.
And on YouTube, you can hit the notification bell so that when the YouTube version of our episodes go up, you get them right away.
Yeah. Do it. Hit the bell.
Appreciate y'all. Stay safe, everybody.
Yes.
Word. Stay safe. Be well. We out.